All right, here we go. Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're staying safe, because you need to stay safe in this world. So if you need to mask up. If you need to socially distance. And for those of you who haven't been vaccinated, you might want to consider that, okay? All right, so with that being said, for those of you who are new, this is the opportunity you guys have to ask me whatever questions you want to ask me about. So you can post your questions in the comment section below, and I'm going to try to answer as many of them as I can. Every time I do this, I do try to go with new questions or new people who are asking for a reading, just because I want to be fair. But it's open games, it's whatever. But if you're going to ask me about your life, please be specific. What exactly are you asking me? Don't just ask me for a message. Don't just say, hey, do you have a message for me? Or what do I need to know? Those are too general. What do you see for my love life? It's too general. You need to be specific. What exactly are you asking me? Because if it's not a general question, I'm just going to skip you and keep moving through the different questions. And so just FYI, if you want to have a real opportunity to get me to answer your question, you got to be specific. If you wanted me to connect with a loved one in spirit, let me know who you wanted me to connect with, and I'll try to connect and give you any messages of love and healing, or just any messages of that loved one to let you know that they're still with you, or affirm to you that they're still with you. It is better to do a video or to speak with you, just because there are things that come through in mediumship sessions that are hard to validate or confirm, and sometimes I need to clarify some things that I'm getting, and the best way to do so is by speaking to you. But if you don't want to be on camera, that's okay. You don't have to be. Just ask your question there, or ask who you want to connect with, and I'll just give you anything that I can from that person that will help you to know that they're with you. If you want to know more about what I do and my work, I'm not just a psychic and a medium, I'm also a spiritual teacher, and part of my mission here is to reach as many people as I can, and to teach people and to give them anything and everything from a spiritual perspective, to help them incorporate and use that in their life. Because we always hear about spiritual teachers and spirituality and reading this and reading that, but a lot of people don't actually offer experiences or advice on how to integrate that and use that in your life. And so that's what I focus on with my work, is to give you something you can use, not just to spit out something that sounds great in a post. And so for those of you who want to look more into what I do, look into my knowledge and information and all this stuff, I've got plenty of stuff and content out there. You can go to my site, first of all, because that's where you'll find everything. So go to my website, fernandamarone.com. Everything is there. So my podcast is there. My articles are linked to my website. My YouTube channel with all of the videos are linked to that channel, to my website as well. If you want to submit a Dear Ferny question, you can do so through my website as well. I also have a page dedicated to my predictions. So whenever I predict something, and it shows you whether it came true or how accurate it was, and I grade myself pretty like specifically. So I try not to sugarcoat it. If I missed it, I missed it. If I was wrong, I was wrong. I'm not gonna try to twist it into something that is not what I said. So just FYI with that. But you can, and I'm supposed to be adding more on there, but I haven't had a chance to sit my butt down and like have to go because there's so much details that I have to add in there. But anyways, also, if you want to know about services, if you want to come to me for a reading, or if you want an e-reading, you can do all of that through my website. Don't be careful with frauds out there, because there's been several instances where people set up profiles and pretend to be me, or pretend to be my profile. So they'll try to copy everything from my profile on Instagram and create a fake profile, and this happened on Facebook as well. And when I find out about it, of course, I reported it, and I tried to reduce that and let people know, hey, this person's out there saying that they're me. But just FYI, guys, I don't approach anyone in any way and tell them to purchase services. I don't tell anybody. The closest thing you'll get from me telling you to purchase services is just telling you to go to my website if you're interested in more. That's it. I'm never going to private message you. I'm never going to direct message you. I'm never going to tell you to send me money, or to get a reading through like a direct message, private message, etc. I don't do that. When I'm off the clock, I'm off the clock. I ain't trying to work extra. So I have dedicated hours, I have dedicated time, I have dedicated intention every single week focused on this work. So if you want a session with me, go to my website, everything is there. Don't direct message me asking me for a reading or wanting to book an appointment. You got to take your butt over to the website. I make it pretty easy for y'all. Is there anything else? Again, if you get approached on, especially on Facebook, there's a lot of trolls out there, and they start, I feel drawn to you, my beloved, or they come up with like, if you want an accurate reading, let me read you. They're trolls. They're people who are not real psychics. They're like pretending to be psychics, and they're gonna like try to just take your money. I think that's it. I think that's all I have to say to you guys. So, as usual, my statements are personal opinions and interpretations. They are not guaranteed future events. Whatever decisions or actions you decide to make in your life, you are 100% responsible and liable for those. You can change the future. It's never set in stone. A lot of people have the power to change things, so don't feel like you're stuck in your life. And as always, I am not a licensed medical doctor, counselor, attorney, or law enforcement official. You can still ask those kinds of questions, but you should always go to a licensed professional, medical professional, law enforcement official, legal professional for those specific services. I can't diagnose you. I'm not a doctor. I can only tell you what I feel, what I sense. You still need to go to an actual doctor, y'all. So just FYI with that, okay? If you want to be on camera, you can request to be so on Instagram. Just get your butt over to Instagram if you're not already there. If you are on Instagram, there's a little button right here. It's a little camera with a cross on it. That's the request. So just request to be a guest, and then I will pick some people for video readings during the second half of our live, okay? All right, so let me jump around here. I'm not going in any particular order. Rude people are not going to get my. I'm just done dealing with rude people. So I try to treat people the way that I deserve, that I expect to be treated. And if someone of you wants to be an ass to me, then I'm gonna get you. So y'all aren't gonna get anything from me if y'all come in here being rude to people or to me in general. So just FYI for those of you. Let's see. Yeah, Anna T. Hi, Ferny. Does my niece Adriana have any messages for me, her mom, or her little sister? We all miss her so much. Thank you. Yeah, so a couple of things. One is, first of all, she's showing me a necklace, so she's making a reference to a necklace, but she's splitting it into two separate styles. So there might be two different styles of this necklace, or two separate necklaces that have different styles on it, but she's making reference to that. She also keeps thinking, she also is acknowledging a ring, interestingly enough. So I am seeing a ring that may be connected to her that y'all may still have, or that y'all have for her, because there's a reference there as well. I'm seeing engraving as well, so this might be something that's got markings or like some sort of marking on it as well. She also keeps acknowledging, thank you. This is gonna sound weird, but do you know those mimes, the people who dress in like striped black and white like outfits and paint their faces white and like do this whole like, that whole thing? A mime? Okay. She showed me that, and then she showed me like spaghetti straps. I'm trying to figure out if she's just telling me about the picture of her with the black and white striped thing that she's got on, or if she actually got into costume or is in some way in costume or in this attire that reminds me of that. But there's something like that she's making reference to, because I'm seeing that whole stripe thing and that whole so I'm trying to figure out if it's just an outfit thing that she's talking about in a picture, or if there's actually like a picture of her in costume dressed in like this black and white or this striped outfit. So there's a reference there as well. She also keeps acknowledging, thank you. That's funny. It's weird. I'm thinking of The Color Purple, the movie, but I might also just say that there might be something that's like a purple color. I want to say this is like either like it's funny because I'm thinking of a unicorn. There might be a unicorn or a stuffed animal that is connected to her as well. So just FYI, because I'm seeing something that reminds me of that also. Okay. Let's see. Mandy, so relationship reading, that's general. I need to specify it. So what specifically about your relationship do you want to know? And then I'll see if I can see your question again down the road. Because it's got to be, will I meet somebody? Thank you, Mandy. See, yay! I love people who listen and pay attention. Yes, thank you, Mama. All right, so will I meet somebody soon? No. I don't feel like you're going to meet somebody right now. There is someone that may show interest in you or may express interest in you. Possibly, it's either like a friend or an ex, because it feels like I would know this person, but I'm not interested in this person. So that may come up in about 3 months from now. I don't feel like that's anything, so that may just be for fun, or that, do whatever you want to do with that one. As far as like you meeting somebody or getting into a relationship, I think you're not gonna get into a relationship until maybe spring of 2023. So you're a little whiles away before somebody comes in that could stick for a little while, okay? Also, you need to bring your walls down, because sometimes you put up these walls, and even though I think that you may try to put yourself out there like you're this tough bitch, like, oh my God, I got it together, or whatever. Like, sometimes you're more sensitive than people give you credit for. And so I think you need to be okay with being vulnerable. So you need to work on vulnerability. There's actually a really good audiobook by Brene Brown called The Power of Vulnerability. I think that you should work on the vulnerability factor, because I think sometimes you need to like share a part of yourself that doesn't always, that people don't always realize you actually have. And I think it would be very endearing for them to see you in that kind of mode. So just think about that. Okay. Jennifer Garcia, my brother just passed in March. Need to see if he has a message for me. First of all, he's almost acknowledging. Thank you. Interesting, because I feel like I'm walking down the aisle. I don't know if there's a wedding in the family coming up or if there's an engagement that's going on, but he is almost making me almost like walking with someone or doing like an aisle thing. So I'm not sure where he's going with that, but there's a reference to that. So I'll leave that with you. He also keeps, thank you. He also keeps acknowledging 30th. Thank you. The 30th of a month may also be significant. So the 30th might be connected, or the 30th may be significant. He also keeps acknowledging, thank you. There might be a picture of him where, it's funny because I almost think of like people who were like practical jokesters or like to play jokes on us. I keep thinking of a visual of, you remember the movie Scream with the mask? I keep seeing that. So I don't know if there's a picture where, it's funny because like, what is with all these people in masks or costumes today? But I'm seeing him in a mask, and so he might have a picture of him where he has a scary mask on, or he's got a mask picture, a mask face of something next to him, and then his picture. So there's something like that he's making reference to. It's just like a personality thing. He also keeps acknowledging in your vehicle, if you have something hanging, or if you have something that you've got in the mirror, or if you saw him in the mirror, that would be him, because he's attaching himself to that as well within the vehicle or the automobile. He also keeps thinking he's doing this. He's like doing the cross thing. So I don't know if he was Catholic, if y'all are Catholic, or if or there's a cross connected to him, but there's a reference to this as well, because he almost just made that gesture for me also. He's talking about his shoes. I wonder if he also have his shoes, because he's acknowledging his shoes. I don't know if he was, sometimes there are some people who are like really picky with who touches their stuff or who has their stuff. I'm trying to figure out if he's just acting like he was picky about his shoes or his things, and like he cared about it. So there's a reference to being picky with the shoes, or picky with shoes. So he's acknowledging that as well. Also, the month of May may be significant. So May, maybe because he showed me my birthday, which is May 6th. So the month of May is significant, or the 5th of a month may be significant as well. Okay. He's like, messages like, don't stress yourself out. I think he's trying to tell you, don't stress yourself out. Like, things, it's almost like we can't control everything in the world, so you can't control or have control over everything, especially stuff going on with the family. So just like do the best that you can, and don't over stress yourself, because there's only so much you can do. Emily Chapa. Hey Ferny, can you please tell me if my friends are gonna return home? Elvira and Vianney. Are we gonna find them? So I kind of feel, you know what I'm reminded of? I don't want to automatically assume that something's happened to them, because that's not the have in my head. I'm almost reminded of a friend who went missing, and they thought something happened to her. No, she just went, she was on a bender, or she just decided she wanted to just do her own thing, so she just disappeared, didn't care to tell nobody. I kind of get a similar vibe here, like there might be either an intention from them to not be here with y'all, or be home, like they may be trying to actually avoid being home, or a situation is keeping them away from home. I'm not going to assume that something's happened to them as far as like a bad thing, just because I'm not getting that vibe automatically. What I'm reminded of, here's an example. So I had a friend who had a friend who went missing, and he was asking me about it, and I was like, I don't feel like he's deceased. I just feel like he's not, like he's either like he's confused, because I see him like being barefoot, so he's either confused or he's lost and he doesn't know where he's at, or he maybe was on something. Well, it turned out he actually had a mental breakdown, which is why he didn't know where he was, and he was very confused, and so that's what happened. But they found him, and he was fine. But I feel like there's something about intentionally being away or avoiding being home. So that's the vibe that I get there. Will you find them? I think that there will be more clarity on this in a couple of weeks. So I would say in about 2 weeks there might be more information, or y'all may know exactly where they are. So just FYI with that. There may also be another family member connected to where they are. It's funny because I keep thinking of going to Florida, but I feel like there might be another family member connected to where they are. Okay. Shimonata. Hello, brother. What's my future career profession? So I'm seeing several things that I kind of want to throw in together. One is I keep seeing like websites and marketing and branding and style and the way something is set up or the way it's being presented. But then I'm also seeing pictures and either graphics or photography. And then I'm also seeing like ads. So I feel like there's a combination of and when I think of ads, I think of like Google ads and stuff like that. So I want to put all those things together, regardless of whether what you think you're going to go into or what path you think you're going to take. I'm seeing this, which means this is going to show up, or you're going to get involved in something like this. And this might be within the next 2 to 3 years, because I feel like this comes up around 2 to 3 years. It's interesting because it may not be something you thought you would be able to make good money at or do well with, but the direction you were originally wanting to take doesn't feel like that's what you end up sticking with. It feels like you go on a side swipe. You take a side step and you go into what I'm describing, and then that makes actually pretty good money, or you're able to do some good stuff with it in that way. So it almost has that vibe to it. Okay, it does feel like it has to do with artistry of some sort, or the way something is presented, or the way it's being like set up or designed or put out. There's something to it that feels very similar to that. For example, like I have Reagan, my social media manager. She does all of my advertising or promoting, and so she does like Google ads and all that other stuff. Just because when you're in business, you have to promote yourself. So it reminds me of that whenever she's sending me an email. And she's like, hey, what do you think of this one? Do you like this picture? Do you not like this picture? And so I'm like, So I'm thinking of that. So I keep thinking of that. And I feel like there's something that's tying into what you might see or what you might get into. But again, this is like 2 to 3 years from now. This isn't right away. Amanda. Hey, Ferny, do you see me and my husband getting a loan for our house so we can fix it up to sell it before the year is over with? I feel like this is gonna be a little bit like messy with that whole situation with the loans, because I've seen a few things. One is I do think y'all will get a partial loan, so it doesn't feel like it's going to be a loan for the full amount y'all would want. It feels like it's going to be a partial loan, which may only be able to give y'all enough to do certain things. And then I do sell y'all selling the house. I don't think that they're going to sell the property before the year's over with. I actually think y'all may not end up selling the property or getting what y'all want for it until maybe I'm thinking late next year or next year. Yeah, late next year. I want to say like September, October of next year. When that happens, wait. See, I'm seeing two moves where I'm trying to figure out, like, is the first move y'all selling a house and then that's it? Or is the first move like selling and then moving into a new space at the same time? Let's say there's two moves, because I'm going to say there's two moves. So I think that there's a move in April, May, the first move, which might be when you sell the property. And then there's a second move that comes up in late next year. And that's the one that feels like you're moving into your another space or to another permanent space. I do see a partial loan, and then what ends up happening is as the property gets sold, y'all have to fold in some of the loans. It's the weirdest thing, because I can see y'all selling the house and making some money off of it, but I also still see y'all with a loan that has to be paid back, but it's not very much. So what I would say is, to avoid debt, pay it all off, and if you walk away with just 2 cents from that damn house, then that's it. That way you have no debt, and then you don't have that fear. But that's not what I think y'all do. I think y'all walk away with some value of the property, and then you pay some of the debts off, but then you still owe money on a loan that's still connected to the house, even though y'all aren't in the house anymore. And that's the thing that I think might get a little tricky and messy, which is why I was mentioning that. But I do think that y'all will sell the house. I do think y'all will get a partial loan. I just don't think it's going to happen this year. Okay. Rosie Emily Ruiz. Hi, Ferny. I wanted to know if there is a spirit near me because I've been experiencing paranormal activity in my home lately. No, I don't think it's a spirit. I think it's you. So I think that you're going through some stress, anxiety, you're not coping well, or you're not expressing things, and it's building up within you, whether it's with people or just because of life circumstances. And so this energy building up within you is triggering a external manifestation of your own sense of being. In other words, the version of you that you're not coping well with, the version of you that you're bottling up inside, the version of you that you're trying to not really deal with, is the version of you that's growing and growing and expanding, because every time you have an experience or an emotion or a thought that is tied to the energy of that being, it just adds to it. It's like a pot that you add to. And so at some point you can't support or sustain that, and if you're not dealing with it, it still needs to be dealt with. And so what happens is the energy splits off and becomes its own separate being, but it's still you. It's very similar to the movie American Haunting, which is essentially what happens in that movie as well. But I don't think that you technically have to be afraid of crazy things happening, but I still think that it's a version of you that's just expressing itself. So if you can come into peace within yourself, or come to a state of peace inside of yourself and be okay with things, that will go away, because it automatically starts to regress as soon as it starts to be dealt with. And it's the issues in your life that are causing it, not necessarily it being triggered by something separate than you. Okay? But I don't think it's like a spirit. I think it's actually you. It's like an astral version of yourself. Candace Harris, can you please tell me when it's time to leave my current job so I can start to focus on my passion career? Thank you. Girl, it ain't my job to tell you what to do. You got to make that decision for yourself. So you're going to need to decide when you're ready to take that step. You're not gonna use me as the exit for that. So you have to make the decision. With that being said, I will answer your question, but in a different way. When do I see you leaving your job? Now here's the thing, because I can't see you leaving your job and pursuing a passion. I can just see you leaving your job to another job. And so if you really want to pursue a passionate career, you actually have to start working on building a passionate career and focusing on that. I wanted to do this for years before I actually left Starbucks to do it. And not only that, I didn't just quit my job at Starbucks and then start doing this and then it miraculously worked for me. I was working on this for about a year before I left Starbucks. And so I was already building a clientele base and building my business when I decided to leave Starbucks. And I had already been doing it for a year, and I was able to swap out one income for another. So I was able to basically no longer get paid by Starbucks, but my business was doing well enough that I could maintain my bills. And so that's what I ended up doing, but I put the work into it. So you're gonna need to do the same thing. Don't expect miracles or an angel to descend from the heavens with a job offer, because it ain't gonna happen. But when do I see you leaving your job? When do I see you leaving your current job? I feel like you are gonna be leaving your current job. I feel like you're going to leave this job and go to another job. I think that next spring, 2022, is when I see you leaving your current job, and then you go to another company or another organization. At that point, I feel like you go into a 2-year program that might even be connected to that next job. And so you may not even end up going in the direction of what you think your passion is. You might end up getting into this other program with this other job that may actually work really well for you, and you may like it. So I feel like that's what's going to end up being the case. You don't have to listen to me. You can decide, no, screw that, Ferny. I want to do my passion, and I want to do it. And I can't live with myself if I can't live with my passion. Well, then do it, girl. Stop telling everybody about it. Just start doing it. So you do that, you'll get there faster. Don't wait for someone to give you permission to do it. Cool Hand Luke. Hi, Ferny. My cousin Joey passed 3 years ago. Do you have any messages for me from him or anything from my guides? Yeah, so a couple of things. One is I keep playing games, so I don't know if he was a big gamer or if y'all were gamers, but he's like playing the game thing. The only other thing that I could think of is that is if you play games or you've been playing games and you've been having some weird glitchy things happening, it might be him trying to get your attention. He's showing me a picture that looks like it's either sketched or it's something that is engraved in metal or even clay. I'm not sure what this is, but there's something connected to him that is engraved in a substance. It's either like, actually, I don't think it's a picture. I almost feel like, well, no, I don't think it's a picture. Maybe it's just like art, but it's like on substance. Like it's either on clay or on metal. The reason why I'm describing it that way is a while back I had a client and her son came through and he kept talking about this like mold of his face. And it felt metallic and it was connected to him, and so I didn't know what that meant. I thought maybe it was like a little like necklace with a little picture like your engraving, but it actually turned out that the family had an image made of him. They actually had a complete metal cast of his face, and it was an image of him on the wall. So that's what they did, but that's what I'm seeing in my head, which is why I'm describing that. He also keeps acknowledging the dragon or the serpent. So there might be like a character or a myth or a belief about a dragon or a serpent or something that has to do with like a magical serpent or a magical dragon. There's something there that he's making reference to. It feels like I'm talking about a character or something from a show or a cartoon, but it might just be like a idea that he's trying to relate to you about his experience or what he's experiencing now as well. The closest thing I can think about is like whenever I think of Falkor from the Neverending Story, you know, that's what I'm seeing, is like someone flying in the sky that reminds me of that. But again, this might just be like a caricature or something artistic that is done. Either that or it's a tattoo of a freaking dragon or a serpent, but there's a reference there. Hira, can I make it as a Dana at a list even though I'm not a graduate? I think you can. I think you can get hired as one, but you're going to be limited to what you can do. In other words, I feel like you would be able to get your foot in the door, and that would be through like people that you know, but you would be able to get your foot into the door. I just don't think you're going to be able to move very much or do very much without a loan degree. So I feel like it's going to be a bit of a challenge there, but I do think that you can get into it. What's interesting is I keep thinking of databasing, and I keep thinking of like Amazon.com and these companies that are like distribution company or warehouses. I keep seeing like their computer systems and seeing what's in stock and whatever. So there might be something that you go into that has to do with that. It may not be technically data analysis, but you could say it's like a very similar job opportunity. Pretty. Hello, any message for my husband? Thank you. Yeah, so he's opening your palm and he's putting a ring in your palm. Whenever they do that, it is my automatic symbol that they are allowing you to move forward when you're ready to move forward. Meaning that if you have the opportunity to have another relationship or to have another romantic experience, they're giving you permission. You don't have to. No one is forcing you. No one is saying you have to. But he's doing specifically that. So it's his way of letting you know that whatever you decide, whenever you're ready, or if there's someone in the picture, you know, go for it. And I love you, and it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. He's also kind of blaming himself for the circumstances, either because he wasn't speaking on what was going on with him, or he was not sharing everything that was happening, and he might have been withholding some information about his situation. So there's something there as well. It's almost like an apology, like, I'm sorry I didn't tell you more, I'm sorry I didn't tell you everything that was happening, but it's almost like wanting to acknowledge like withholding, or just not wanting you to worry, or not wanting to create like struggle or tension. But then at the same time, this is a gesture of opening your palm, putting the ring in, giving you permission. Okay. Mary, Mary Mazik. Girl, you like gave me all of the information, so like there's not. Hello, my mom passed away 2 years ago, but I couldn't say goodbye. Her death was very unexpected for me. I would like to know if it was her time or something more happened, and if she is good right now. Her name is Rogelia Torres. And then you gave me a bunch of like her date and her birthday, the last day. So it's just, y'all don't need to give me all that. Y'all can just say mom. That's it. Y'all don't even have to give me a name. Just mom, dad, cousin, whatever. As long as I know male or female, because sometimes in my head it's harder to distinguish that. So I kind of get a focus there. With mom, she's showing me something that looks very artistic. I almost feel like I'm seeing wings across, like, I don't know if this is a picture of wings going across, or there's like a butterfly thing going across in like an image, but she's showing me something like that. So it feels very visual and almost artistic in a way. It almost reminds me of whenever you go to like At Home, or you go, it used to be Garden Ridge Pottery, but then it's now called At Home. When you go in there and you look at all of the portraits and the pictures and you start picking out the stuff you like, I'm reminded of that when I'm doing that. But then she's like showing me this whole print of like two wings going across, or butterfly wings, but there's a reference there. So she's acknowledging that. She also keeps acknowledging there's a nickname or name reference that she's trying to acknowledge. Either this is an animal that's with her, or this is the name of a person, but it sounds like an animal's name. But it reminds me of like it's funny because I keep thinking of the Wizard of Oz and Toto. So there's like a animal that is named after a movie character or a movie dog, like Toto. But there's a Tito or Toto name that she's making reference to as well. She's also acknowledging a mug. So there might be a mug connected to mom where it's got like, best sister or best daughter or best friend, or there's something like that as well, because she's showing me a glass or a mug that may be significant and connected. Okay, let's go over here. Let's jump over here to this one. Rita Louise Lopez. Hi, my son just started his senior year, and I would like to know if there is any messages from his dad. It's been hard on him. A couple of things. One, he has shown me a necklace, so there might be like a, and this specifically reminds me of like the little like metal plate, or the little metal thing. What's interesting is he also is drawing on my skin. I don't know if you have an agreement about a tattoo for his dad, or if his dad actually had a tattoo of him or of y'all on him, but he's making reference to that as well. He also keeps acknowledging that if y'all have the lights flickering in the living room, or where the TV's at, like, because I feel like I'm sitting in the living room or watching TV and the lights are flickering. So either it's the TV or it's the light in the room. But he says if any electricity or any weird stuff starts happening in there, it's just him letting y'all know that he's around, and also he's trying to scare the hell out of y'all because he's getting a kick out of it. He also keeps acknowledging it's interesting because he's almost apologizing that sometimes the most patience, or sometimes he would struggle with patience, but he's also telling his son, like, have patience, like, you'll get through it, just have patience. He also says that the program may be cut, or the program may get redone, because there's something about a program that he's in with school right now where it either gets cut and they have to find a different plan, or they have to redo it in a different way. But he's acknowledging something like that as well. He also keeps acknowledging there might be a picture when they were younger where he's like, the son is on the dad's back. Like if I'm pretending to be a horse and be a horse, like, here's Ray the horsey, and the kid's on the back, or there's something about him on his shoulders and him, like, but there's a picture of this because he's acknowledging an image, or a picture or an image like this. He also says that he did show up in the middle of the night. So if one of you woke up or saw something when you were halfway awake and waking up and saw something, he's acknowledging that this was him as well. It might have been real fast, and it might have been like a streak or a light, but he's acknowledging that he tried to show up, or he tried to say hello as well. He's also wrapping his jacket or his thing around the son as well. So there might be a jacket or a sweater that is also connected to him that the son may have. Okay. Brittany Martin. Hi, Ferny. Am I going to find love again? Thank you. Yeah, so a couple of things here. First of all, you got to work on being jaded, because it's easy to become jaded whenever we start to struggle because of trauma in a previous relationship, or when we're just heartbroken. And it's easy to become that way. So I kind of want you to be careful and be aware if you start to notice yourself becoming a little more like mentally jaded, or just becoming more that way, because I don't want people to pick up on that and then they think you're a different person than who you actually are. Another thing also is I do think this was the best thing to happen as far as like the ending of it, and then moving forward. I do think it was the best thing to have happened. I also think that you need to catch those red flags or pay attention in the first few weeks or a few months of dating, because you may have a tendency of just trying to ignore or avoid obvious red flags, and I don't want you to have a repeat. And this feels like it's a pattern that's going to repeat. So you might start dating, which is fine. You should date. Date is practice. Date is good. So practice dating, and learn to recognize the energy. When you're dating someone and there are elements or aspects of that person's personality that remind you of an ex, immediately, don't even give the person the benefit of the doubt. Just immediately assume it is the same energy, and then call it quits. Just because the reason why we have these traumatic experiences with these people in the past, or just impactful experiences, is because we're supposed to learn to identify that energy and understand that. And so once we learn to identify or familiarize ourselves with it, then we can move forward and we can open up to new options in love and avoid some of those pitfalls. For example, I have a friend who, after my ex and I broke up, and that was it, and then my partner and I got together, but I had a friend that I had known through work, and his energy reminded me so much of my ex, just like little mannerisms, little things. And I always thought to myself, like, that's energy is similar. That's a similar energy. So I always, even though we were friends, I always had that in my mind. Like, don't be stupid. Don't allow yourself to just believe that people are who they say they are. Let them show you. And in time, sure enough, it was the exact same personality, and he started to do the same things that my ex was doing. And I was like, I knew it. I knew that was that energy. And so that's why I always tell people, when you recognize similarities in people, don't just give that person the benefit of the doubt. To just move forward. Just let it go, move forward. For those of you who don't, and just like, oh, well, that's my type, or I'm always into that type. Well, then stop crying when you keep dating the same messed up fools, and then you keep being burned, because that's your damn fault. That's not their fault, because if you keep putting your hand in a fire or in a flame, and you keep getting burned, and then you keep wanting to put your hand in another bucket of fire or flame, that's your fault. You're the one that set yourself up for that. So that's what I'm saying. So don't date the same type. Try to change it. To answer your question, I do think you'll have love again. There is an opportunity that's going to come up. I don't think it's right now. I think it's in 2023, April of 2023. In April of 2023, I think there's an opportunity with someone that will be a friend to you first. That could go somewhere. The problem is it gets a little bit complicated because of their relationship situation, or they are possibly coming out of a divorce. So it might get challenging, and you might want to immediately just judge it. And what I would say is, if they're not giving you red flags like what you've experienced before, then don't judge it, and just say, hey, this is a unique situation, let them fix it. What I think is going to happen is you judge it, and then you pass it up, and then you have to wait a while, because they'll loop back around and y'all will try again. But that comes up, I think, in April of 2023. And I'm assuming you're straight, so I said a male's name. If it's a female, then apply it to a female's name, because it's not like I downloaded with, gay or straight whenever I talk to people. The name is Bela, B-E-L-A, Bellaris, or Bellaris, or Belarus, or Belarus. It's got a Bella sounding start, but it sounds like a long, interesting name. Belarius. It's an interesting name. I'm not familiar with the ethnicity, but I feel like it's an interesting name. Okay. Dora Gardena. So, hi, Ferny. Is Audrey with her grandpa? Any messages from my mom or my brother? Yes, Audrey is with grandpa. What's interesting is, and I don't know if this is for Audrey or this is for the brother, but what I keep seeing is, you know how sometimes there are these places where you can where people add pictures to walls where a lot of people passed away. There's two things that I'm seeing in my head, which is why I'm trying to figure this out. So here in New Mexico, where I live at, up in Chamayo, there's a sanctuary. It's called the Sanctuary of Chamayo. But it's actually an old church, and there's a part of the church that has like this sacred dirt that is supposed to be like miraculous dirt. And so people really believe this dirt is miraculous, and it's been there for a while, a long time. People come from overseas to go to this like sanctuary. It's funny though, because basically, like if you go there, it's obvious that there's a big old pile of dirt in the front. All they keep doing is just filling in that hole inside the church with the dirt from the pile. It's not like, maybe he's blessing it, I don't know, but he's basically just taking the dirt from that pile outside and then putting it into the hole. It's because everybody goes there and they get their little shovel and they dig up the dirt. But there in Chamayo, there's this entire wall section where it's got people's pictures of people who have passed or people who have had a miraculous event happening. So you have all of the crutches of people who were healed when they visited the church or visited with the soil or whatever. There's also holy water that's a part of this as well. But there's a bunch of pictures there. So there might be a wall or a collage wall where there's a bunch of people who were passed that may be connected to Audrey, or you know how sometimes when you go to like some of these places where there's a bridge or there's a fence and people get a locket and they attach it to the fence. I'm seeing something like that. So I'm not sure if this is that or like the wall with all the people's pictures, but there's a reference to that. Your brother is acknowledging some date of significance within 30 days right now. So right now, within 30 days, forwards or backwards, there's a date of significance, which would be like a birthday, death date, etc. But he's acknowledging this or making reference to this. He's also acknowledging the 23rd as well. So the 23rd of a month may be significant, or February 3rd may be significant. Okay? Let me bring some people on because I've been talking way too long. Let's do Wendy. Let's see. Five, 4, 3, 2. Oh, there he is. Oh, hello, Wendy. Hi, can you see me?
Yes, hi.
Hi, sweetheart. What do you want to ask me about?
Sorry, Ferny.
Ah, you're fine. You're fine.
I'm at work. We connected one time and I was at work and then I'm at work again.
That's funny.
Okay. Just a quick question. My daughter's birthday is coming up next week. She's turning 3. She didn't get to meet my mom, and then she didn't get to meet her grandpa. Sorry. From my boyfriend's side, he passed away when she was 1 month. So I just wanted to see if there's anything messages for her.
Do you remember her telling you about a dream with fairies or with these like butterflies or fairies? Do you remember her ever telling you about a dream or experience like that?
Who, my daughter? No, but her birthday is themed butterflies. Everything that'll be butterflies.
Okay, then this is what they're telling me, because they're acknowledging that they're with her, and they're acknowledging, it's funny because they said dream butterflies. And so if her butterfly theme is butterflies, and they're acknowledging, they're aware of her birthday and they're aware of what's going on, but she may also start having dreams of butterflies or of wings in her dreams. So be aware of that and what she says to you, because she may start drawing them as well. Because they're like a different type of wing. It's not just like a traditional butterfly wing. It's got a unique like shape to it. So there's a reference there as well. Your mom, thank you. Do you know if there's a connection to the 27th of a month? Or February 7th?
February 7th. I can't
Either the
think
20. That's okay. The 27th of a month is significant, or February 7th is connected, because they're making reference to that. She's also acknowledging do you have 2 bracelets that are connected to mom, or are there 2 bracelets that are connected?
Yes.
Okay. She's acknowledging that. She's also drawing on my skin in 3 ways. Are there 3? Okay, I don't even know how to interpret that. Do you know if there's a tattoo connected to your mom that's 3 versions of it, or is 3 ways? That makes any sense?
No.
I'm seeing a flower. So I'm seeing a flower that's turning, or a flower that's like moving. Do you know if there's a piece
I have 3 stars tattooed. I don't know if it's that.
Okay, so you have 3 stars tattooed. Are they close enough together that they kind of look like the flower, or like they shape that circle? Okay.
They're close together.
Perfect. That may be what she's referring to. So she may be acknowledging that. Okay. She also is acknowledging, because of this, look for stars that are falling. So falling stars are a sign from her as well. So be aware of that. It's funny because I'm hearing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Do you have a toy or something that plays Twinkle Twinkle Little Star? It plays a song with a
My
star?
daughter sings that song all the time.
That's from your mom. So this is your mom's way of telling you that she's actually with your daughter all the time because she's the one putting in her head that song and these things. So this is her way of telling you, I'm with her. Like, I'm with her. We're with her. So don't worry. She knows us. She may not know it, but she knows us. So just be aware of that.
Okay. So anything
Okay?
from her grandpa?
From your, this is your,
This is my husband's father.
yeah.
He passed away right when she was a month old.
Yeah. Do you know if there was a lot of, thank you. Do you know there was a weird aneurysm or, I don't know if it's aneurysm or clotting, but there was something that was going on right here in the upper chest or in the lungs?
Yes, he had a hard time breathing.
Okay, because he's acknowledging this. Do you also know if they were having trouble stabilizing his blood pressure and his blood pressure kept dropping or they kept having to give him fluids?
Yes.
Okay. Do you also know if he was having weird pinching needle sensations in his legs? Because he keeps making my legs feel like there was these needle feelings, and it's not fun. It almost feels really painful. So he's making me feel like, and it would like alambre, but it was like it hurts. So he's acknowledging that. Yeah, he's aware. He's around. He actually. Okay. If y'all see a white cat on the roof or a white cat come into the house, this is a sign from your grandpa for your daughter. So it's going to sound weird because I'm seeing the top of a roof and a white cat. So I don't know what he's going with this. But if there's a white cat that starts coming around and your daughter starts playing with this white cat, that's a gift from your grandfather. Okay. From the grandfather. Okay?
Okay.
They're with you, sweetheart.
One more thing.
Spit it out because they're going to kill me. Spit it out.
Yeah, my boyfriend, he called me on the weekend, like, hey, come really fast. He's like, this big white bird flew right on top of me. And it was a white eagle. I mean, not a white eagle, a white owl. That happened just Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah. Where was he when this happened?
He was outside in the yard. He was just cleaning the yard, and I was inside the house.
Ask him if it landed on the house or on top.
It landed on the neighbor's top house, but we could see it. Okay. Nobody could see it, only us.
Okay, this might be what I'm seeing then, and I'm completely misinterpreting what I'm thinking I'm seeing. Because owls, even though I love owls, owls is not a common sign for me. Cats, I can see cats like nothing. I was seeing this white creature on the roof, and I assumed it was a cat.
Yes,
so this might be what I was seeing. Then that may be what he's trying to tell me about, is this owl and not necessarily a cat. I would still keep your eyes open for a white cat because now that I've said it, sometimes when I say something and it hasn't happened yet, they make it happen. There was a lady once that I told her her daughter that her daughter was going to send a deer to her window, and she thought I was absolutely crazy. They literally left the reading, and they were like, "Ferny's lost his mind, like he's crazy." And they're like, "We live in the freaking city suburbs. There ain't no damn deer around us." Well, 2 months later, she went on a trip and was on vacation in northern New Mexico. She woke up one morning and there was a deer standing at the window staring at her. Just stared at her for a good 15 minutes before it left. And so I was like, there you go, girl. There you go. So yeah. So just keep an eye out for it. But yeah, I think that may be what I was seeing.
And one more thing, my dad. Any messages from my
I can't. I can't. They're gonna kill me. They're gonna kill me. All right, Mama.
Okay, Ferny, thank you so much. Take care. I love you.
You're welcome, sweetheart. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, let's see. Let's see. Let's go. Carmen. Hello, Carmen.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, sweetheart. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm just fine, thank you.
Awesome. What do you want to ask me about?
I want to ask about some knocks that I hear on the door in the middle of the night. Recently, it was about 2-3 weeks ago. It woke me up. I went upstairs to my daughter. I asked her why she woke me up in the middle of the night, and she swears she didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a ghost. So this is not a spirit. This is a ghost. So I think that what's happening is I think that there's let's see. Can you hear me? Okay, there we go. I think that there's a ghost coming around that is trying to Is your property renovated? Was it just recently renovated, or was there some work done locally, like next door or at your house?
A what? I'm sorry?
Do you know if there was some renovations or some work either on your property or in the house next door?
On the properties.
In the property, yes.
Okay. Sometimes what happens, so sometimes after a person's passed, if they've lived in the area or lived near the property, um, even if they're gone and they've crossed over, sometimes they're like after images. You can call them different things, but it's basically like an after image or a footprint left behind by the energy of the person. Whenever people are having work done on a property, it can reactivate the energy even after the house has been cleansed. For example, in my old house, there was a woman who died in the house. She had a heart attack. They found her in the house. And when I moved in, I did a whole property clearing to clear out the energy. Everything was fine, didn't have any issues. And then a few months later, we had a door removed because our house was old and we had too many doors in one house, in one room. So we had a door removed. And right after they started working on the house, all of this activity stirred up. And it wasn't because the woman's came back from the spirit world was trying to bug us. It was because we shifted the energy of the property and it triggered some paranormal activity and some of those old patterns to reignite. And so what I think is going on in your home is I think that this is the after image or the after effects of a person that lived on the property. You can call it a ghost or being. It just feels like it's an after image or an imprint. You need to have your home cleansed. It doesn't feel like it's a family member or spirit family member. It feels like a ghost or a separate from y'all who either lived there or lived around that property, and so with energy in the house.
Because I live in Houston, but it happens to me before in Connecticut about three
That
years ago.
Yeah, that's different. That's a different. So those are two separate situations going on there. Sometimes people, whenever they have paranormal experiences, they always want to lump things together as if it all is connected. So if someone had experiences when they were a child, and then they have experiences as an adult, and then they have experiences years later, they always want to throw it all into the same pile as if it's all the same stuff. It isn't always the same stuff. What you were
Oh,
experiencing in
okay.
Connecticut,
And
yeah, what you were experiencing in Connecticut that was actually a different situation altogether. And part of the reason why this is going to keep happening is just because you're sensitive or you're psychic yourself, and you're going to have these like moments where things get triggered. But in this situation right now with your house, I feel like that's just an after image of a ghost that was there or a person that used to live there. So you'll have to have the house cleansed.
okay, another thing is I'm planning on moving. Do
Mm-hmm.
you? What do you foresee for
Yeah.
me and my family
Yeah. Interestingly enough, I feel like there might be a partial move. I keep seeing 2 months. When are you planning on moving?
in 2 months?
Okay, so I think that the move will go fine. There's a partial move, which means you may start the move in 2 months, but then it may take an entire like month to get through the entire move, because I feel like there's a lot of complications that may come up that don't feel as simple to resolve. So I wouldn't be surprised if you start the move, get some things moved out or moved over, and then you have to do it again or have a second trip.
Oh, okay. And
Okay.
another thing, do you see
Uh,
any relatives around us?
Well, I gotta go because we're getting into a whole reading here, so I gotta get to getting. But here's what I will say: there is an older female above you. It does feel like a mother. It does feel like a mother energy. So I want to say there's a mother energy above you. If it's not mom, your mom, then it's going to be like a mother figure, like a person that was in your life that acted like a mother or mother.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
All right, sweetheart. You take care of yourself. Okay.
Okay, thank you so very much. You too. Bye.
You're welcome, sweetheart. Bye bye. All right. Let's see. Going to the next one. Um, let's go here. Hey, girl.
Hello.
I
Hey.
was like, hey, Felicia. Bye, Felicia. You know, I
Hey.
was ready to go. I was ready to go. How you doing, sweetheart?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. What do you want to ask me about?
Okay, so I have two questions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a grandmother of
Mm-hmm.
five girls. So
Mm-hmm.
now my one daughter's pregnant again.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, am I gonna have another granddaughter? Or am I gonna finally get my grandson?
Um, so I feel like it will. You said you have 5 girls, right?
Yes. Well,
How,
actually, I had six, but one passed away, so
okay,
I
I
have
was about
five.
to ask. I was about to ask about that. So here's the thing, because I'm seeing 2 babies in spirit. Actually, I'm seeing 3 babies in spirit. Do you know of 3 babies that are miscarried, lost, or terminated connected to you or your daughters?
My daughter had
Got it.
two lost.
Got it. So there's 3 in spirit. One of them is going to return or come back. And so I actually think that the soul of one of them is trying to get back in. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's another girl.
No.
But I am seeing 4 grandchildren. How many grandchildren do you have right now?
I have a total of five right now.
Okay. So I feel like you're going to end up with possibly 4 more grandchildren.
Oh no. Oh my
2 of
God.
them are boys. So there are 4 more kids coming into the family within the next like 4 years. 2 of them are going to be boys. So you'll get your 2 boys, but then you're also going to get 2 other girls in the family. If
Okay.
they're not by birth, the 2 girls, if they're not by birth, it's because one of your kids is going to marry in or have somebody who's got children from a previous relationship.
And
But
that's
you'll
gonna be
still
my
be,
fault.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. And then as far as my
significant with working
okay.
out stuff if you're going to try to work stuff out.
Okay. I see
Okay?
that. And then you see, my father passed away. My
Yeah.
stepfather did. Do you
Oh,
see him
girl, we're
talking
getting
to
into
me?
we got to get into the whole reading. Here's what I'm gonna say, and I'll end it here.
And then this is
Yeah,
it.
okay. Your dad. He keeps running on my skin. Do you know of 2 tattoos connected to your daddy?
No, I
Okay.
don't.
He's showing me 2 tattoos. They almost look like wings, actually. So there's either going to be wings connected to your father in art or in tattoos. But he's showing 2 wings next to each other. So there's a reference there. He
Okay.
also keeps acknowledging. Thank you. Did your dad like music?
Yes.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I do have a wing tattoo on my leg, on the back of my leg.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna say. He might just be associating himself with that tattoo, which if you didn't get it for him, I don't know why he would be bringing that up. But if you decide to add something to your leg, you can add something to that, and that would tie him in as well.
Okay.
What's interesting? Do you have 2 father figures actually?
Yes, I have a stepfather and a real father.
Okay,
So my stepfather is the one who raised me that passed away.
got it. And I got it. Okay, so interesting. That's interesting that he put himself together with the wings, and then he brought up the other father as well. So I don't know where he wants to go with that, but what were we gonna say? Music. He really loves music. Do y'all have his music or do you play his songs?
No, he old school music, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Because he's showing me my friend Michelle, and she has all her dad's like records, and she plays them because it reminds her of her dad. So he's acknowledging the sense of like playing his music. It doesn't mean you actually have his music, but playing his music. So
Okay.
listening to his music, etc. Do you also remember? Do you remember a memory of him like really getting excited with the song and then getting up and dancing and wanting to like grab you and dancing with you?
Yeah, at the barbecue.
Perfect. He's acknowledging that. That's one of his favorite memories. He says this is what his heaven feels like. This is what it feels like. He says everybody's fine, everybody's getting along mostly. He's laughing mostly, and then he's dancing. So he keeps coming. He's acknowledging this or making reference to that. Okay.
Okay.
All right, sweetheart. You take care of
All
yourself.
right.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a
You're
good
welcome.
one.
You too.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. All right, guys, that's it. We're out of time. So I'm about to jump off of here, and then I'll get back on in about 5 minutes for our study group time. So today's our study group day. So we're doing our book study. So I love you all, and I'll see you on Friday, okay?